Finally, welcome, BitBoy Crypto, the People's Channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. This is Around the Blockchain. We come to you Monday through Friday. Sometimes we're late. You know, normally we're on time and we're pretty good about it. But talk about your favorite topics with your favorite guests, and today is no exception. We're going to go ahead and start on the top right. Crypto Keeper. I was just on their latest episode of Debate Crypto, so definitely check out their channel. You see me trying to defend NFTs against a hexagon, and it was a very heated. We definitely went off topic. That's all I'm going to say. Then on the bottom right, really good day to have him on. That's right, we got the TA maestro himself, Gareth Soloway. We're definitely going to ask him some questions about his predictions and why is he the crypto Nostradamus. Then in the bottom left, still in the F1 winner's circle, that's right, Tom Crown. You definitely want to follow his Twitter. He's always putting out really good calls, really good trades. I highly recommend it. Then in the top left, he looks like he's dressed for a Cobra Kai meetup. No, we're talking about Ben with the new background behind him. Maybe there'll be a karate trophy in there next time. Ooh. Actually, you know what? I do predict some softball trophies. So, you know, watch, check out his phone records, check out his morning stream. He'll give you all the details on that. But we're going to get right into it. You know, we started a little bit late here talking about Bitcoin whales starting to move and what's the current going to do afterwards. Also, eBay adding crypto payments. What? And an SEC crackdown. So before we do all that, though, you know what time it is, everybody. And today is a day for it. Let's do a little bit of a market watch. It has been quite the roller coaster of emotion for everyone involved. Oh man, will you look at that pump? 11.12%. We are above 41,668. We have Ethereum up almost 10%. BNB's up quite a bit. XRP, Cardano up 10%. Solana 15%. And still, Luna took that spot, jumping up to number 7. Cardano, Solana falling a little bit. We're seeing a lot of shakeups here, but let's get to this Bitcoin price. Now, Gareth, I'm going to bring it straight to you. We have a lot of, a lot of rumors on why this is happening. Some people think, the shorts are getting wrecked. Some people think, other oligarchs are just buying loads and loads of Bitcoin. Maybe the TA was predicting this all along. What were the charts telling you?
Yeah, so taking a look at the charts here, what's cool about this is last Monday when I was on with you guys, we talked about would Bitcoin break down below this white trend line. And I said, historically, what happens is when you have such a big move to the downside like this, you don't just bounce a little bit and then break down. Instead, what you do is you chop sideways for a while. You kind of have this up and down kind of choppy action. And that seems to be what's going on here. Same thing as you guys have heard. I'm hearing the same thing. Did all these sanctions create a rush to get into Bitcoin by the oligarchs and various Russian players out there? And then also people in Ukraine. I've talked about how it's a little tricky to get across the border with suitcases full of money or bars of gold, but you can obviously put your Bitcoin there and go to a different country and access it. So I think all of those are positive things for Bitcoin and the story of Bitcoin longer term. Overall, you are hitting a little bit of resistance right here at 42,000. So just monitor that. That is the first little bit of resistance that it's hitting. If it can get through there, then you have a good shot of going back up to this upsloping trend line, which is now around 47,000. So the levels to watch, 42,000, which we're basically knocking on here, and then 47,000 on the way up. Those will be your two key levels. On the downside, the only thing you need to care about is the white trend line here. If that gives way, then that's really problematic for Bitcoin on the downside.
Okay, do you think that we went up too fast, too quickly for us to hit that top part of that trend line? Or, are we due for a correction?
Yeah, I mean, today's move is definitely a big move. I think it's, again, coinciding also with, and this is just a little side note, is that the longer the issues go on, the longer the invasion lasts with Russia invading Ukraine, the less likely the Fed is to raise interest rates as much as initially they were expected to. So it's kind of a pulling back of the Fed, which means that it's a risk on trade again. So that's another positive thing. In terms of how fast we go up on Bitcoin, yeah, I mean, likely what you'll see, what I'm expecting is a pause day or two off of 42,000. And then I think there's a decent chance we can make our way to 47,000.
All right, I agree. I think, the longer, the more we go sideways in a boring pattern, the better it is for, bullish indicator there. Now, let's see. I'm going to take it to you, Crypto Keeper. Just a couple facts on this. We're saying, the whales, they're starting to make some moves. I think they did 20,000, nearly 20,000 transactions in the last 24 hours. We're talking about people with more than 1,000 Bitcoin. So we're not talking about guppies or, tuna or even sharks. We're talking about, legitimate whales here. It's the most activity since January 24th, which is kind of that bottom of that trend line that we saw, where that first wick down. A lot of people are even, comparing it to, the March 2020 activity, where a lot of people kind of sitting on the sidelines, next thing you know, they're jumping in. So we're seeing an explosion in the circulating tokens, tokens that largely dormant, and then now they're starting to circulate. So, for the viewers at home who don't really understand, why this is, kind of momentous, or why this is kind of big news. Why is it big news when, these non-circulating tokens are all of a sudden circulating?
Well, I mean, ultimately, volume in the market is huge. It says that people are interested in what's actually happened. They're interested in the price. They're interested in just Bitcoin. Let's use Bitcoin as an example. Bitcoin, Ethereum as a whole. And I think when you go for a long period of time with a lot of uncertainty, like we've had recently, and then you have what has been looked at least recently, as a very bullish event for crypto, when the big hands, when the whales, when they get involved, it's generally kind of a signal for the rest of the market, or it can be a signal. You also need to be careful, but it can be a signal for the rest of the market that if the people that are having, as I like to call it, the dinner parties, that have the conversations that you and I are not privy to, are moving assets around, if they are either taking things off of exchanges, if they are not tethering out, then it tells me that they are in and trying to stay in the market. They like the prices, they like where this is headed, and yeah, a lot of times they know a lot more information than we do.
All right, well, let's talk about that now, Ben. I agree. I think the whales, they kind of know some things that we don't know. They're making moves, opportune times, almost suspiciously opportune. Is this kind of the same vibes you're getting with that January 24th, where we kind of bottomed out, or that March 2020? Are you getting the same vibes as these whales coming off the sidelines? Is this kind of looking like a short-term bottom signal?
Well, I think this is a totally different time. This is, I think, to look back and compare this to the summer crash, I think is irresponsible. And so the main reason for that is because obviously there is some effect, regardless of what the strict TA guys say. There is some effect fundamentally of what is going on around in the world right now. There is, people are, sighing with nervousness and anxiety right now. I know a lot of people who have asked me, like, how can you get your money like out of cash and things like that. We see what's happening in Ukraine and Russia with the ATMs. We saw that Russia said they will seize accounts from people there. People are scared and they're wanting to move into Bitcoin. So I think this is actually being driven kind of by the use case of Bitcoin. This has been a walking advertisement for Bitcoin, going back to what was going on in Canada, moving forward to what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. This is a walking advertisement for Bitcoin. And so I think that we're seeing a lot of people move in, and this is different because it's not just for money, like it's not just for investment purposes. However, there's a compound effect where when you have people piling in for whatever reason, now price starts moving. Now people start thinking speculation again. I think that this is the litmus test for what's going to happen for the rest, I believe, of this year. If we do go back down in the low 30s, whether it's 34, 35, 33 from here, I think it's going to be hard, unless there's some kind of catastrophic, like similar to the pandemic crash, that just goes down and comes back up. I think that it's going to be hard to see us ending this year on a positive note. However, we're crossing our fingers. Maybe Benjamin Cowan is right about his lengthening cycles theory. Maybe that's something we're going to see. And, if we get above 46K, like Garrett says we can, I think that does open up like a lot of possibilities for what this year could be. In the last several months, nobody's really been feeling that lengthened cycle thing because we've been wondering how low is it going to go down. And this could actually be what breaks the traditional, Bitcoin cycles, in my opinion, which is something really strong and fundamental.
Yeah, and fundamental. I'm glad you said that word because, just the thought of pumping off fundamentals and not technicals or this, that, or the other is definitely a good feeling because, the fundamentals are there. The fundamentals are there. You can say that till you're blue in the face and the price normally just does not care 99 times out of 100. Now, Tom Crown, speaking of fundamentals, a lot of altcoins are on the rise with these whale wallets. I had a list here. It was Phantom, Gala, Aave, Matic, and Link. And then I saw you posting about Litecoin. You know, Litecoin is all-time BTC discount, I believe you said, which is, you know, pretty surprising, but I guess not surprising ultimately. But no, sorry, Tom, I didn't mean it any kind of negative way there. But what is, you know, with these altcoins, do you think there is a method to the madness right now with, you know, the altcoins that they are targeting or not targeting? Or is this kind of just a shattergun of, you know, just shoot everything against the wall, see what sticks, grab that, you know, just kind of invest and diversify here?
Yeah, I see these articles every week. Biggest biggest whale wallets buying Shiba, or something or another. It doesn't really seem to play out on the charts. I think really what's happening is we've seen a prolonged period of sideways, Bitcoin showing a little strength here, and these big players are getting their positions back. We saw Luna actually in the opposite of Litecoin. Luna broke its all-time high valuation versus Bitcoin today. Literally today. It's pretty exciting. We haven't seen much of that price action, I would say, since, I mean, at least November last year, but really April last year, that was the common. I'm digging these green candles today, man. I want to show them a chart. It's really similar, but different from Gareth. So I'm looking at this blue trend line, and I'm looking at January's high of 2021. That's sitting at, let's just call it 42,000 for simplicity's sake. We've seen a beautiful rally, and if we zoom into the 5-minute, we can see price kissed that 42. It's coming back. It basically touched that blue line as a back test. It's looking strong still. It would not surprise me to see some continuation here. I think that Ben hit it right on the head. The macroeconomic environment right now has never been so bullish for cryptocurrency. We see it in Canada, we see it in Ukraine, and we're going to hear the blowback we're going to hear it in Russia. Pretty much everyone has something to gain by grabbing onto cryptocurrency right now. I'm talking globally as nations, and it's a really spicy time.
All right. Very, very, muy caliente, we say down where my ancestors are from. But
Picosa.
Let's get into the lightning round real quick. You know, this is going to be a tough one to tell because of all these macro environmental issues that are going on. But is this a fake out or a breakout? Ben, I'm going to start with you. Fake out or breakout?
I'm definitely leaning breakout. So I'm going to say breakout, but I still do believe there is a chance of another really big dip. I think it's certainly possible. But I mean, look, like I said before, we created a higher high back in November. Since then, we've been on a downtrend, and we've been seeing higher highs and higher lows. So, you know, to me, it does seem like this could be, you know, some good hopium. And obviously, like we've said many times before, even though people hate to hear it, we look at invasions, they generally drop, and then, you know, markets react, and a good reason to turn the money printer back on.
All right, Crypt Keeper, what would you say? Is this are we looking at a fake out or a breakout?
Yeah, I agree with Ben. I think it's a breakout. That being said, I think that I could see if Russia does move into a NATO territory for whatever reason, I think that would be a crazy idea. But if they do, I think if the U.S. were to get like physically involved in that manner, I think very quickly we would see a huge, what I would look at as an opportunity to scoop up a whole lot in the crypto markets. But I think it will be brief. I think we're headed back up.
All right. Now, Gareth, where are you leaning towards, fake out or breakout?
So I got, right for me anyways, what I'm thinking is going to happen, and this will give you a few steps ahead, is I think we could re-up and test that 46, 47,000 level, chop around, and then ultimately I'm thinking we break down. So I still have a midterm price target of like 20,000, sub 20,000. I'm going to stick with that until the charts tell me differently. But in the short term, you can trade these ranges. They're awesome to trade, and the lots of profits there.
All right, loads of profit. Now, Tom, where are you leaning? Fake out or breakout?
If we say breakout, it's gonna dump. So I'm leaning breakout. You know, I'm not always a fundamental guy, but as I was just saying, this is really a fundamental time for crypto. It's a proving time. BTC rubles just hit 4 million. So by the way, guys, if you own 1 Bitcoin, you're now a 4 millionaire in rubles. Congrats.
Okay. All right. And I'll go ahead, fall on the sword. I think short-term fake out. And that way, you know, I'll go ahead, take the L in crypto. Just pump and make me look bad, please. I'm willing to take the L. All right, let's talk a little eBay. eBay adding crypto payments. Now, the CEO just gave an interview to the street. The name is Jamie. Ionone, I believe I'm saying that correctly, and they're looking to add crypto payments as soon as March, which is technically tomorrow, not a leap year, correct? So saying they want to transition to a new payment system to capture the younger audience, and just kind of looking at their sales volume, they did $85 billion last year. Now they've hinted about, crypto in the past. They've hinted about NFTs. This is the first time they've said, this is a real timeline, and we're looking to integrate this within 1 month. So very, very big, very, very big. Now, Ben, with this move, let's assume, eBay, rolls this out smoothly, and let's assume maybe even some smaller competitors kind of copy their pattern here. Does Amazon lose market share?
No. Like eBay, guys, eBay's pretty irrelevant at this point. In my opinion, there's a niched audience for it. I'm sure people are still using it. Like, I just would like to ask the panel, like, has anyone on this panel, including DEEZY, used eBay, let's just say in the last 6 months?
No.
10 years.
No. Yeah. When is the last time you used eBay? Tom, you said 10 years. Probably 6, 7, 8 years for me. What about you, DEEZY?
Mm-hmm.
I got some nerd stuff, probably about 6 months ago, like last summer. So, yeah.
DEEZY. What about you, Crypto Keeper?
It's been at least 7 or 8 years for sure.
Right. Gareth?
Yeah, at least a year or two. Yeah.
Yeah. You bought your charts there. I know you bought a chart there. But look, like, it's kind of like Craigslist. Like, just too many competitors have risen up. People that are shopping on Amazon or on eBay, I don't believe they're the convenient shoppers that shop on Amazon. Amazon is a site of convenience. eBay is a site of penny pinching and trying to, if you really want to do a lot of deep research on a product before you buy it, you want to get the absolute best price, then that's where you go do it. I think the vast majority of people don't do that. They would just buy what's easier and what's quicker. I don't think people being able to spend, their crypto on eBay is going to be a big push against Amazon. I am interested to see what they do with NFTs. That is certainly a lot more interesting to me than them taking crypto for payments. I mean, look, if you're in Russia right now, and you had a bunch of Bitcoin, like, did you want to be spending it, you think? I don't know.
Yeah. Now, Crypto Keeper, kind of on that same side of the coin there, will the smaller people, will they copy eBay moving forward? Let's assume Amazon can rest on their laurels for a long, long time. Well, some of these smaller competitors, like Ben said, they're irrelevant compared to Amazon. So they got to do these, wild moves to try to gain that market share. Will the smaller companies copy eBay? And then, are we going to see all the competitors of Amazon start to take crypto?
Yeah, I don't think it's a wild idea at all. I think that if we look at crypto as a whole, it is more than just emerging technology. It is the future as I see it. It's the whole reason that I got into crypto. I saw an opportunity, and I think that as it becomes more and more, I'll call it normalized, it's just going to be an option. It's not just going, like right now, I can go to the store and I can swipe, my crypto.com card, and I'm actually spending crypto, but the transaction is actually then being flopped into US dollars, as far as the store, that's what they're receiving. I think that it's not going to be too long before these companies are actually going to be holding reserves in different assets. Now, albeit I think on the front end, it'll be only Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, just, depending on where the company stands with things. But yeah, I think they have to. I think that the younger generation is starting to realize two things. And one of those things is that they love crypto. The second thing is the US dollar sucks and it's headed to zero. That's just a fact. And so if you see something headed towards nothing, then the smart play would be what? To jump onto something that is ultimately going to hold its value and has that intrinsic value. And the reality is crypto, Bitcoin, it's there and it is the future. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you raise a good point. Do they have to keep crypto? Now, as a buyer, not necessarily, they receive it, instantly transfer to fiat. But as a seller, if you want to receive Bitcoin, chances are they will have to have it on reserves. Now, Gareth, you also covered stocks for, many, many years. I think since they were printing out the little piece of paper, that came out. It was like really, really long and everything. Will eBay, is this news going to excite the market? Are they going to gain market share? Does that PayPal move in the past, seem almost irrelevant compared to where they're heading in the future? What do you think the stock market is going to react like?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, so eBay just came out, I think last week with earnings, and they were disastrous. Just like, I mean, you just asked, Ben asked the whole panel, and not a whole lot of people are shopping there. So what they're doing is they're trying to make themselves relevant again, which is bringing up something that younger people are more interested in, maybe get some more eyes on the service and so forth. So I think that's really what it is. Whether or not it works, I mean, usually these type of things don't tend to work because eventually Amazon will introduce crypto payments and everyone else will do it. Maybe they're going to get a little bit of a short-term bump just from being one of the first ones to do it. But for the most part, yeah, it doesn't seem like the stock market cares that much at this point.
Oh man, that's a shame for those eBay holders, but why aren't you in crypto? Now, Tom, real quick, what industries are, possibly going to be next? What's the next big, e-commerce or, internet style, company behemoth that might jump into, adding some sort of crypto utilization?
We've seen it on Twitter already. I'm going to say social medias, Twitch, YouTube, right here. I think that tipping enabled there is a very likely next step. Yeah, I wanted to say I don't think it has any real chance of increasing eBay's kind of market share, but what is exciting about it is that we may be seeing the first kind of actual physical marketplace exchanging kind of Bitcoin for goods and back and forth, and we may skip that intermediary cash step that Keeper was describing. So that is exciting. I don't really have high hopes that's going to moon eBay, though.
All right. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be it. Hey, I'll sell you this, 50-cent fortune cookie that has a seed phrase that has a bunch of Litecoin on it, and I'm going to charge you Bitcoin for it. So maybe. I mean, I'd rather go to KuCoin, but, or Uniswap, but, maybe, who knows? All right, let's talk a little SEC crackdown here. U.S. Security Exchange Commission Director Gerber Grewal. Now, Ben, is that how you say his name? I know you say his name a lot.
Wait, say it again. Who is it?
It's Gurbir Grewal. It's an enforcement director. So who knows? That could be number 20.
Spell it again. Spell it.
Gurbir and then Grewal. With, when you hear a
Grewal.
name like
Grewal. There you go.
Enforcement director, they could be like number 3 in power. They could be number 37 in power. Who knows? It's probably obfuscated on
I also
purpose,
just made that pronunciation up. It may not.
Sophisticated answer, Ben.
You said it with enough confidence. I believed you.
Yeah,
all right. So he said crypto companies will not receive amnesty for self-reporting. They said they might consider smaller penalties, but you do not get amnesty, even though they aren't clear with the rules. You have a company come forward. Hey, we don't know how to comply. Here's our paperwork. And they say, aha, well, you didn't comply, and now you owe us $100 million. So probably going to see some things like that. Now, Gareth, BlockFi, they recently settled with the SEC. It was $50 million for the Fed. I think $50 million went to the states. Now, what do you think is going to be, a good long-term strategy for these crypto companies? Is it better to just come out of pocket and possibly spend, hundreds of millions of dollars? Or should you take, a stance of let's take it to the courts?
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, if they've got the market cap, I mean, we've seen so much spending, whether it's crypto.com and renaming a stadium or massive spending on Super Bowl commercials. I think you got to strike while the iron's hot in that respect, and they should be spending money, especially if you're competing with 15,000 other cryptocurrencies out there or whatever there is right now. You got to establish yourself as a leader in the crypto world. And I think to spend money, that's what you got to do. I mean, look at Amazon. Amazon, a great example of this. They didn't make a money for like 15 years, right? And they just spent, and no one believed that they'd ever do it. And now they're a behemoth, printing cash essentially. So I say spend away and do it.
Yeah, I remember being much younger and thinking that was a good thing. And then traditional investors didn't like Amazon's strategy. And I remember just thinking how crazy they were. Now, Ben, let's go to the XRP Supreme Leader. XRP Army, where are you at? Let us know in the chat if you're watching, and we need you to smash that like button here. Ben, is XRP going to set the basically the playbook or set the stage on how these crypto companies need to comply? Or is this, did the SEC kind of have a predetermined outcome that they're going to work towards no matter what the facts say?
Well, that's certainly one theory. One theory is this whole thing is staged, so this actually is the banking system working with Ripple to make sure that they get cleared of, but possibly being a security. So this case had to happen for Ripple to be able to clear away, the concerns about will it be a security? Because I know back in 2018, that was a lot of the talking points around XRP was, don't get into it because it's going to be a security one day, yada, yada, yada. So there's that. But as far as a playbook, like, okay, I got it. Here is the playbook. Here's how you beat the SEC. You guys prepared? Are you ready? Have more money than them. Have more money than them. Right. Have more resources than they can combat. And that's really, what is going on with, XRP versus SEC. XRP actually has the money to fight it. John Deaton and Jeremy Hogan talked about it this morning on the channel. Is Bitcoin pumping right now?
Yeah, Tom.
Dude, Bitcoin just went like $3,000 in like 2 minutes.
Tom,
like,
Tom, let's
go
to
Let's
Tom's
go.
screen real quick. Tom, if you don't mind, if we can go to Tom, we definitely want to see what exactly you're looking at here.
Oh, you're watching the ruble chart.
No, that's
the
ruble chart too. This is dollars.
I thought it was.
We just went $2,000 in 3 minutes on dollars, not rubles. Well,
that
holy
is
crap!
insane.
Now, how does this compare to soybeans, Tom?
Soybeans, though, they topped out. I made the call and I bought the top.
You shorted.
I'm all in on soybeans.
Okay.
I always short soy. I always short soy.
So back to what I was saying about the playbook. I mean, that is the play. Golly, it is still going. It's on
crap!
Bitstamp.
It's 44K. Boom
right now.
Let's go.
So, but look, that's what it boils down to. The playbook is have a lot of money. I don't think that a lot of projects are going to be able to take much out of what happens other than this. If XRP is not considered to be a security, then it's a pretty high bar for what will be considered a security in the future.
All right. I love it. Now, Tom, I just kind of want to bring it to you. You're looking at that chart. I was going to ask you about, is it BlockFi's fault? And, like some, Celsius and Nexo, is it up to them to come up, is the responsibility ultimately lay on their shoulders? But I want to talk to you about this Bitcoin price. I'm sure that's what the people want to see. What is the chart telling you right now?
Holy crap. This is the last day of February.
So to be clear, the chart told you to change your pants.
It did. I'm going to need to. That won't be the chart. We've spent 27 days thinking we're in a bear market, probably more than that. And now Bitcoin in the last, we have like an hour left, 2 hours left in this monthly candle is soaring. It's literally moved from 41.8 to 44.2 in the course of less than 10 minutes. So we are seeing not just spicy nice price action to the upside. We're seeing it in a very specific time frame, and that's the last kind of
Do you think it's for the
leg
monthly
of the
close?
race in February.
So
Absolutely.
You think it's
hanging the
okay. I saw Benjamin Cowan tweet this morning, and I actually was thinking, oh God, that 28 days in February. I wasn't primed to think is the last day of the month. Now, Crypt Keeper, I kind of want to ask you another question about, SEC and will the XRP case set the precedent, or, are we kind of just hopefully wishing that? But let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin. You can mention that if you want. Is this, just a monthly close thing? And if so, why is that? Do you think it's manipulation?
Yeah, I mean, it's there is literally zero chance that a whole bunch of retail traders at the exact same time, right at the last day of the month at 5:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, decided that, I'm in. It's a good time to buy Bitcoin. I got to have it, right? The reality is they call this banging the close. And ultimately, these institutions they are either liquidating the rest of what shorts, were there. They have a reason that they're doing this. I do want to answer, though, your question about the SEC, because I think it's important. So let's go Bitcoin. But the SEC ultimately is in a position where they are trying to make sure that everyone is scared of them. Right. So as Ben said, XRP Ripple does have the money to be able to fight them and to combat what's going on. But there's a large majority of other companies that don't. And so what I think the SEC is doing is positioning themselves to be that authoritarian ruler that says, listen, you can even tell me that you've done wrong. That doesn't mean I'm not still going to cut your head off. And that makes a lot of these different companies and projects make different decisions, and it makes them hesitant. I hate it because I think that it really pushes back and holds back new tech, new ideas. And I think that it really slows down what could be the space continuing to grow. And so I'm hoping that we do figure out and get some regulation from this XRP case, because if we just get this ambiguous kind of, hey, they settled, but it was all redacted. We have no real clear evidence of what the answers are, and we don't get anything from it, then they're able to continue to be the bully. They're able to literally push everyone around, say, this is our territory, you're on our turf, you'll do what we say, you'll do what we say, when we say, how we say it. And I think that ultimately that just really sets a bad tone for the rest of the crypto market, because it's going to stifle innovation, which is what I meant to say earlier. So.
I agree. All right, one last question. I'm gonna ask you, Gareth. You know, you're definitely a good chart guy here. We're seeing this insane pump. You know, Crypt Keeper, he kind of alluded. You know, this is what they call banging the close, and it could be to liquidate your shorts. So is this kind of, you know, is that kind of your theory as well? And why would they want to? You know, what's the purpose of doing that?
Yeah, I mean, so it looks like that. I mean, you're getting this big surge just before the close of the day for crypto. And again, you know, for me, it's not necessarily knowing the precise reasons. I don't know if it has anything to do with an options expiration coming up or anything like that. But there are lots of games that get played here. And again, it's a matter of where does the candle close on the monthly, which can actually dictate whether money flow comes in the next quarter or in the next month, based on that close. So definitely continue to look for that. I still think you could go up to that 47-ish, 46, 47 level. That's kind of that line in the sand where if it's going to have a breakout, you got to see it get through that level. That has been, you can see we got underneath that line. We retraced here, we pulled back, we hit it again. That's going to be your line in the sand, that if it can get through that, then you got some upside, maybe 52,000 even on the upside. But certainly I'm not honestly 100% sure why, aside from end of month, that it would be pumping like this.
All right, on the off chance we do go above that, was 53, was that blue line of resistance that you had on your chart?
Yeah, that's the midpoint, right? So that's the midpoint of the channel, right? So you have the highs connected here, pivot high. Wait 1 second, let me show my chart. Sorry about that. So the high here to the high here, the lows all connected, and that dotted line is your midpoint. It also happens to be this high pivot right here that coordinates right with that 52,000. So if you get through 47, then likely that dotted line is your next stop.
You know, every now and then I'm like, it's not all tea leaves, not all of it at least. All right, well, that is all we had time for, and it looks like Gareth, I kind of gamed it in his favor. I asked him to.
I thought I was going to win. I was so ahead. God.
I know. I need to start doing TA. That's what I need to start doing, so I get that extra
charts.
question.
It's
you know
the
what I
charts.
mean?
I've been doing TA since I was a teenager. What?
All right, well, Gareth, go ahead and leave us with some parting thoughts, please.
All right, my parting thoughts. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me on here. Thank you to Tom and Crypto Keeper here and DEEZY. You guys do an awesome job, and make sure to follow all these guys. You know, Crypto Keeper always says it too. Is everyone on here has a strict select use case skills. You want to take everything we say in, and you want to come up with your own thoughts. You know, never really trust any one of us. No one should trust me implicitly. Think about it, make your own decisions, live by those decisions. And again, if anyone wants to check me out, verifiedinvestingcrypto.com.
All right. And yes, do your own research. And that is all we have time for. Frankie Candles is live. If you want to go check out his stream, I'm sure he's talking about the pump right now. So until next time, BitSquad, DEEZY out.